Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. This is the second video in the series of self-esteem. The first video looked at what is self-esteem. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about some of the signs that you may in fact have low self-esteem. Now, there are questionnaires, standardized assessments that exist that you can use to determine your level of self-esteem. And that's not what I'm going to be doing here. What I'm going to be doing here is posing 10 questions that I want you to think about. And as you try and answer them, you will get some sort of an idea of whether your self-esteem is very good or whether your self-esteem is not so good and it is something you need to work on. So let me start off with the first question. Often a very common question. Do you like yourself? People with high self-esteem like themselves. They are fully aware they are not perfect. They have room to improve. They have things to learn. They have faults. They don't do everything right. But at a deep level, they like who they are. People with low self-esteem, if they were to really think about it and get to the core of the opinion of themselves, don't like themselves. That's the first question. The second question I want to ask you is, if you do something socially awkward, that could be you fall and trip over in a shopping mall, or you are sitting in a social gathering and you blurt out something that you afterwards wish you had never said and wish you could take back and wish the floor would open up and swallow you. If you do something socially awkward, do you stress about it for days and weeks afterwards? Somebody with high self-esteem will recognize it, will do whatever they need to do to rectify it, and then will drop it. They will move on. Somebody with low self-esteem tends to replay stuff over and over in their minds if they don't like something, or if they feel embarrassed, or if they feel humiliated. Okay, the third question. Are you somebody who says sorry a lot? Some people have I am sorry for everything. If they see you, it's I'm sorry. If they want something, it's I'm sorry. If you ask for something, it's I'm sorry. Lots of I am sorries in a conversation tends to indicate low self-esteem. It's almost as if you are apologizing for being. Only apologize if you have done something wrong. You don't have to be sorry for just existing. Okay, that's the third one. Then the fourth one is, what do you do if you make a mistake? People with low self-esteem tend to condemn themselves. They berate themselves. They say horrible things about themselves. They don't forgive themselves. And they just make their whole day miserable if they make a mistake. People with high self-esteem acknowledge it is normal to make mistakes. Sure, you don't want to make them all the time, and you don't want to make really big mistakes. But it is human to make mistakes, and if you do, you acknowledge it, you correct it, and you move on. You don't condemn yourself harshly because you have made a mistake. Okay, that's the fourth one. The fifth question I want to ask you is, do you find yourself doing things, taking part in activities, agreeing to something because you need the approval of other people? If you do, the chances are your self-esteem is low. People with high self-esteem do things because they want to do this. They do things because it helps them meet their goals. They also will do things because other people want to do this. At the end of the day, you cannot have any sort of a relationship with anybody if it's always what you want. There has to be some level of compromise. However, if you are somebody who is always, or the vast majority of the time, doing things, particularly doing things you don't like doing at all, just to get other people's approval, then you need to also think about your self-esteem, because the chances are your self-esteem is not that good either. Okay, so that's the first 5 questions. How are you doing so far? What have your answers suggested to you so far? Are you more on the high side? Are you more on the low side with self-esteem? Are there perhaps areas that are more challenging for you than others? Okay, the 6th question I'm going to ask you is, do you find yourself living your life according to what others want? In other words, the life you live, the job you do, the home you stay in, the hobbies you do, the friends you have, are based on what family, friends, relatives, those around you want for you? Or are you living a life according to how you want to live your life? People with high self-esteem live their life on their own terms. Once again, they're not completely selfish, because it cannot always be about me. But they do not spend their whole life living their time, their hours, their hobbies, their job, their play, according to what other people want. Okay, they have a sense of self, and they know they're independent people, and they want to live life as themselves. The 7th question. Are you the person who often gets stuck doing work that no one else wants to do? Are you the person in the office who is the one who always works late because nobody else wants to work late and finish off the job? Are you the person in your household who is always the one who ends up having to do the tasks that nobody else wants to do? If you are, you probably need to work on your self-esteem. You're giving out the message by your behavior that I'm not truly valuing who I am. Okay, the 7th question. No, that was the 7th, sorry. The 8th question. Are you somebody who, when others criticize you, you take it completely to heart and you get cut up about it and you are very upset about it? Or are you somebody who, when you receive criticism, you think about whether in fact this is true? People with high self-esteem, if they get criticized, will think about it. They won't automatically take what other people say about them as truth. They will challenge it. They understand that not everybody necessarily is interested in the best for them, and that people have different motives, and that people also can get things wrong. So if you are somebody with high self-esteem and you get criticized, you may very well accept the criticism, but you will not accept it without sitting there and thinking about, is this in fact really true of me or not? People with low self-esteem tend to just take any criticism as the truth and get very cut up and very upset about it. Question number 9. Do people tell you things you wish they wouldn't? Do people make you feel uncomfortable with some of the things they want to say to you or do? If you have high self-esteem, you will not let this happen. You will speak out. So you might say to somebody, you know what, I am not comfortable gossiping about this person. I don't want to hear this. Or that doesn't make me feel good. I don't want to sit there and engage in that activity. People with low self-esteem will not speak up, and they will go along with things that make them uncomfortable. And then the final question, the 10th question, are you in relationships where you are abused? Somebody with high self-esteem will not tolerate being in a relationship where they are abused. Somebody with high self-esteem will recognize I have worth and value, and this is not good enough. High self-esteem means I treat myself with respect and I treat other people with respect. And if that is the situation, and if that is what you believe in, then you are not going to stay in a situation where abuse takes place. Okay, so those are just a couple of questions to get you to start thinking about in your life. Do you tend to have high self-esteem? Do you tend to have low self-esteem? Are there perhaps situations where your self-esteem is higher or not? Okay, in the upcoming videos, we are going to look a lot more at how do you actually overcome low self-esteem, and how do you deal with some of these situations where you might be demonstrating low self-esteem. But for the moment, I just want you to become aware of how you think and how you feel and how you act, so you can get an idea of really and truly who you are and what your level of self-esteem is. Until the next video, I wish you a wonderful week. Take care and stay well.